Greetings, pen pals. I have a pen that if you like gold and like metal things, you're going to like this pen. So this is an all metal gold tone pen with gold pretty much everywhere. There's a Jinhao 601. Not a huge pen. It's a little bit smaller than a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan, as you can see here. Also weighs in at 26 grams, so it's not a hugely heavy pen. The metal is kind of thin, but it is an all-metal pen with gold and shiny, and again, it's just a stylistic thing. If you like this kind of thing, you'll like this. You'll like this pen. The pattern that's kind of stamped on it is really kind of an attractive looking pattern. I think it looks really nice. Around the cap band, it says Jinhao and 601. It is a pull to uncap pen, but it looks like it has threads here, but those are not threads. Those are just simply concentric circles, which is interesting. I don't think I've seen stuff like that too much before, but it is kind of interesting. Like many pens from Jinhao, it does have a cap liner. The clip is very much a Parker Arrow style clip. Looks very nice. I mean, I'm just as I'm shooting this video, just the shine coming off the gold here is just almost blinding. I mean, it is really a shiny pen. So anyway, pull to uncap. It does post. It posts pretty solidly. Not a heavy pen. Not back weighted. I personally think it's too short to use unposted, so I do post. But it's a comfortable pen in the hand. I really like the section here. It's got very heavy knurling on this black painted section. So this section's metal as well, but with deep heavy knurling. So between these concentric circles and this knurling here, you have plenty of nice places to grip. This is all very smooth. You're not going to find any surfaces you're objectionable to here. It's got a nice little gold trim ring on the end here to keep the gold theme going. And speaking of keeping the gold theme going, it's got a two-tone nib with the gold on the edge, which looks very nice. Number 5 Jinhao nib in fine. It's got the Jinhao Chariot logo, some scroll work, and an F for fine. And of course, has an Uninspiring plastic feed. It is, as you can imagine, cartridge converter. Comes with a nice standard Jinhao converter. Obviously, no eyedropping of this pen because there's metal everywhere. The inside threads, though, are plastic. So what you do have here, instead of metal on metal, which can sometimes be problematic for threads, you got the metal on plastic, which can also be a little problematic, but it does provide a nice solid grip. So I actually think they did a good thing here by doing the plastic threads inside. So you got the plastic threads on the metal unit here, which I think works well and works nicely. Again, I'm just thinking this section is just super nice, and how that's going to make a lot of people happy who don't like the smooth metal sections. And I personally think this is a nice looking pen, but again, it's purely a taste thing. In terms of the finials, they're basically black discs, a very small one at the end of the barrel and a much larger one at the end of the cap. Again, I just think kind of classes it up a bit. I think it looks pretty nice. At first glance, you might say, oh, this is kind of a tacky pen. I just really don't think so. I kind of like the way this looks. Kind of gives off a very mid-century 50s, 60s vibe to it, because I think this sort of style was more popular back then. But I'm liking it. I am. Maybe I'm just showing my age a bit. But stylistically, it does work for me. Speaking of working for you, what pens do when they work for you is write. And of course, you want to see this pen write. And I'm going to show you that right now. All right, what we're writing with here is a Jinhao 601. And this has a number 5 steel nib in fine. This writes really well. This is smooth, has some good flow. I'd say it's on the wet side for sure. I really like the way this writes. This is writing really nice. So I'm going to give this a big check mark there for writing. This is a nice writer. So I'm pretty pleased with this pen, I have to say. So this is a nice looking, nice writing pen, in my opinion. Again, I fully acknowledge that the style of this thing is not for everybody, but I do like it. If you pull this pen out in a meeting, make sure the lighting isn't pointing at you, because the light will reflect off this and blind all your coworkers, because this is just, it is very, very shiny. But it's a nice looking pen, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, inexpensive Jinhao pen, very Parker-like, but they did a good job with this one, so I'm pretty happy with it. That's pretty much all we have to say about this pen for this week. Let's take a look at this ink now, shall we? Okay, this ink is an exclusive to Cult Pens in the UK. This is from Diamine Maureen. And it's what they call an iridescent ink, which is essentially a fancy name for a highly sheening ink. But it's an exclusive to Cult Pens. You can only buy it from one retailer, and they're in the UK. So Cult Pens in the UK is the exclusive retailer of this. You would have to get it from them. And this is basically a sheening blue ink that is just really, really pretty. Really, really a nice ink. So let's take a look and compare it to some others, because when we say sheening blue ink, we got a lot of those to look at. So this is what Diamine Maureen looks like. As you can see, we definitely are picking up a nice amount of sheen there. Here it is compared to, say, KWZ Sheen Machine. Doesn't sheen quite as much of that, but it's also a deeper, kind of more like a purple, like a bluish, purpley blue. So it's got more purple to it than, say, KWZ Sheen Machine. Here it is compared to, say, KWZ Azure number 5. It's a little closer. It's on the lightness darkness spectrum. It's a little bit closer to that, but again, it has a little bit more purple in it. Clearly has more purple in it than, say, Ralph Organic Studio Twilight Blue, but again, sort of a comparable, also slightly more sheen. It's a little bit like Krishna Pakaza, also a nice sheening blue ink. And Waterman Serenity Blue actually is pretty close, because that actually has a little bit of sheen to it that sometimes, depending on the paper, you may or may not ever see. But there's Waterman Serenity Blue, and that is Diamine Maureen. Nice looking ink. So that is what this Diamine ink looks like on this Rhodia paper. Let's take a quick look at what it looks like on Tomoe River paper, shall we? Okay, like we said, what we're writing with here is Diamine Maureen. And as we said, this is an exclusive to Cult Pens in the UK. And there we go. This is a really nice ink, and as we suspect, on the Tomoe River paper, you don't even have to wait for it to dry, and the sheen just comes right through, which is really pretty nice. So you definitely get that nice sheen there. Nice ink, really nice. Nice ink. This isn't a particularly broad nib, and you're still getting the nice sheening effect. So that just shows you how much sheen is presenting itself there. So that's really nice. Speaking of really nice, one thing that would be really nice is if all of you folks could please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It would be very much appreciated. At any rate, until we see each other again, as always, have a great day. Bye-bye.